Artie in North Carolina.
Hello there. It's great to be on your show. Thank you. Anyway, I'm going to make this quick because I am an unbeliever myself, and I don't want to take up too much time. But a lot of the arguments for the existence of God are not that convincing to me. But some of my experiences in life cause me to sometimes wonder about maybe God intervening every now and then. I'll just tell you why I think that. My grandmother died about 15 years ago, and I was on tour with a musical group at the time, and we just happened to be on tour in Rhode Island where the funeral was on the day that the funeral happened. So I was able to, take the day off and go to the funeral, and there were a lot of other really weird things that happened that just seemed a little too perfect.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of people who I might ask would go, oh, well, that's God,
I wish I'd printed out and brought in this thing I was looking at today. There's an actual mathematical proposition which says, and it's got a name, and I can't remember the name, so I don't know how you're going to look it up. I'll try to remember to bring it in the next time I'm on the show. But if you go with the definition of a miracle, that it's a thing that happens, it's like 1 in a million chance of that thing happening. And then if you go with the standard that like a thing happens to you every second, then on average you're going to have something that seems miraculous happen to you once every 35 days. So that's the way to look at it. The universe is this incredibly complex place that you're in, and stuff is going on all the time, constantly. And it's really no surprise if every once in a while something that seems really significant or unlikely actually happens. If it happened all the time, that would be wrong, right? But then I think if it happened all the time, it would just set a new standard of what's normal. and then it would have to be incredibly unlikely for it to seem miraculous. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I could see that. That's probably the last bastion of believing in God in my world are those experiences I've had. And I know they're coincidences, but there's also that side of me that sometimes questions that, Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's normal because you're human, and one of the things that humans are really good at is seeing patterns.
Yes.
And they're so good at seeing
remembering
patterns.
the hits and forgetting the misses. Here's the thing that annoys the crap out of me that happens all the time. At some point, must have been like 15 years ago, I happened to look at a clock and it was 3:16. Right? And then the Bible, 3:16 is this important chapter. I don't even know what it's from anymore. But so now, every once in a while, I'll look at a clock and it'll be 3:16, and of course my brain is remembering that because that one time it lodged itself in my memory, and so a little alarm goes off. Oh, it's that 3:16 thing again. Shut up! It's 3:16 twice a day. Twice a day. The fact that my eyes happen to glance at a clock at those moments every once in a while is completely not significant, but my brain right now is noticing that. It's annoying.
Yeah, my number was 34 for years and years. Every time I looked at the clock, it was 34 after.
Right.
So I don't know what that means.
It means our brains are pattern recognition machines that are going to go ahead and do it even when we don't want them to.
When I was bored in school, I used to stare at my watch when a time was coming up that was cool, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And especially if there was a date, and then this year was 2012, which means something, let's see, there was if you go by the European standard of labeling dates, then there was a 12, 3, 4, or something like that. I don't know. But it's something that will never happen again. And there's something that will never happen again happening constantly.
Yep.
Right. All right, well, thanks, guys. I just wanted to run that by you and see what you thought. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Have a good one.
Thanks.
What do we got?
We got nobody.
Okay.
What's going on, call screeners? We got lines. We have someone on the line who's probably Matt from Oslo, so we're not going to take him.
I don't know that example you brought up of actually consciously looking for those
Yeah,
moments.
no, that wasn't a good example.
But it illustrates that those kinds of apparently coincidental situations do in fact occur.
Right.
And there are some kinds of things where there's a schedule and you can actually wait for those moments.
Yeah.
And that's one of them. But imagine if, 3 times in your life you had accidentally glanced at some calendar or something and noticed it.
Sure,
Then
that
it would be like,
pretty amazing.
oh, and totally not justified.